Hello Pokemon fans, this is ProPokeNoob back today to bring you another battle. Today will be a modern standard OU match against a person by the name of, please don't make me say this guy's name, Nipplezitz. That's disgusting. Anyways, so now that's done. I figured I might as well stay on the OU train because the next few uploads are actually going to be a series that I mentioned in a couple of uploads ago, and I'm just going to talk about that at the end, but we'll stick with the OU. This team has not changed, and just to clarify from last upload, I said accidentally that I have a Jolly Scarfed Breloom. It's actually an Adamant Scarf Breloom, because what it used to be was Jolly Scarf to outspeed Mega Manectric, and then I dropped that and said, fine, Mega Manectric can outspeed my entire team, I'll deal with it. Adamant is required to kill stuff. So when I said that, it was Jolly and it couldn't kill the Gengar. No, it was Adamant and it still couldn't kill the Gengar. Regardless, Scarf Breloom still puts in a ton of work for my team. So, looking at my opponent's team, it actually kind of scared me because this was right when Mega Metagross was starting to be suspect tested. So I'm looking at this going, okay, there's no Greninja and all this stuff, but Greninja was never really a threat. As you guys saw, Clefable is the big tank for me. Now, what I realized throughout the battle, I'm going to tell you right now, I should have realized this at the beginning of the battle, my team doesn't really have good things for Clefable, to kill enemy Clefables. Mega Swampert is the best thing to do it with, I guess, just to keep wailing on it. That's kind of what I have to do here. Kind of just throw my head into Clefable's belly and just be like, die already. That's pretty much all I can do. So, in the ways it leads, I figured if he wants to lead off with the Landorus, or even the Metagross, just because if I lead off with Tornadus T can't do much to Mega Metagross, or Metagross in general, I'm just going to lead off with the Politoed so I can go for the Burn Scald, get the rain up immediately. So I am going to lead off with the Politoed. He ends up leading off with Kyurem Black. Now, I forgot if this thing is like, I know it gets like sub and stuff like this, but I was fearing like Fusion Bolt and stuff like this. So I go straight into Clefable. He ends up going for the sub. Luckily for me, I have Moonblast, so I'm not too concerned. He ends up revealing the Ice Beam, so this thing still could be mixed. I wasn't too sure because this has been a while since I played OU, so this one I actually played about a few days ago. So I haven't played OU since because I've been playing other tiers. But he's going to switch out now, go into his Metagross. I do predict this and go for the Flamethrower. Even though it's in the rain, 10% chance burn would have been nice, but just to show a dominance and stuff like this. I'm going to get the hell out so I don't have to tank a Meteor Mash. I go into Swampert. The man makes a beautiful prediction, goes for the Grass Knot, and there goes my Mega Swampert. Or normal Swampert in this case, because I didn't get the Mega. God, that sucked. Now I'm going to go into Landorus T. I can get the Intimidate off because it's Tough Claw's ability, but he is going to go to his own Landorus T. I end up going for the U-turn, knowing that he's not going to want to stay in. I've kind of read this guy. I met this guy on a stream. I don't know him. He's like, hey, who wants to do a battle? And I'm like, I'll do it on Showdown. He's like, sure, let's go. So I bring in Tornadus T here because I am faster. He's going to switch into Magnezone. Just going to go for the safe Hurricane. It is in the rain. 30% chance to confuse. Not a big risk for me. I can go for, I don't want to risk this thing being Scarf, so I'm actually going to go back into Landorus Therian. Turns out he is going to go for the Volt Switch. Now, this does mean that he's going to have to hard switch out, and it gives me free reign. He goes into his own Landorus Therian. I believe I go for Stone Edge, yes, and of course I'm not going to hit it. That's why I was kind of questioning going, did I go for Stone Edge? Because this Landorus T doesn't want to hit Stone Edges. I don't know. Rain's down. I'm going to go for a U-turn. Let's switch out. Go into my Politoed to set the rain back up, just to make sure that this is continuing to be a pattern. Continue the rain. Even though I've lost Mega Swampert, or Swampert, sorry, I still have Tornadus T in the back. I'm just going to go for Scald, knowing that I can try and burn something. I don't get the burn on this, and again, I was kind of hoping to burn this if it had, what's it called? Fusion Bolt. But I am going to go for the Encore, predicting the substitute, predicting him to think that I'm going to want to switch out. Now, this does mean I can go into Landorus T. Now, you're thinking, why would you go into Landorus T? This thing has Ice moves. Well, the thing is, I know Encore will last long enough for me to go for an Earthquake, which is much safer than a Stone Edge, because this thing doesn't hit Stone Edges. And this is the third turn, so I can go for an Earthquake, break him out of it. He has to go for one more sub, so unless he just wants to keep losing HP for no reason, he does have to switch. He is going to switch out. He's going to go into his Latios. I just go for the safe Earthquake on the off chance. He does try to keep going for subs because he knows once he's broken out of Encore, he will be faster. It's just to get him out of using substitutes. He goes into his Landorus T. I'm going to make a switch, go into my Clefable because it will tank up Latios' hits. That's quite all right. He's going to go for the U-turn. I believe I go for the Soft Boiled just to make sure that I can, check to see what he was going to do. If he did go for Earthquake, as you'll see later, it does a little bit of damage, but he is in Magnezone. He is going to make the beautiful switch, going to his Clefable, as I end up switching into my Landorus T. However, this does work out a little bit for me because I can do quite a bit of damage to a Clefable. Maybe not kill it, but I can dent it quite a bit. But I am going to go for my rocks, because rocks are going to be very important against this guy who is switching out constantly. He ends up going for Toxic. Not too concerned. I think I came out in the end there with the win because I do have my hazards up now. I am going to go for the U-turn, and I believe I'm going to go into my Clefable because this is the best thing I can do. He ends up going for Calm Mind. Now, you have to understand that in order for me to take this thing out without Mega Swampert or without Rain with Tornadus T, my best bet is just to get into a Calm Mind war. So Clefable on Clefable. I've done this before in battles, and it's pretty much my best bet right now. Even if he wanted to switch into something like Magnezone or Metagross, I'm really not concerned. As long as this thing gets out, he does end up switching, as I end up going for a second Calm Mind. Not going to do any predicting. I need to keep up with him if he was going to stay in a Calm Mind war. Not concerned about this thing at all. I am going to switch into my Politoed to tank the Meteor Mash, which is going to do a frick ton. Good God. Mega Metagross. He is going to go for Grass Knot. This is a mistake, and I need to tell you why. Because Mega Metagross does not run much special attack investment. So, knowing this, okay, he could have done one of two things. He could have gone for a Zen Headbutt, which would have killed Politoed. Now, this tells me that he most likely is not carrying it. He might be carrying Bullet Punch over that. But Grass Knot, going for Grass Knot's actually going to allow me to go for the Scald, get a crit burn. Now, I'm not like I planned to get a crit burn. But what this does mean, as this thing has been neutralized, I can actually go into Landorus T, not fearing to take many hits, and he does end up revealing the Hammer Arm. So he's not running Zen Headbutt, or he would have used it, which would have killed Politoed. Either way, if Politoed had died, that's not a big deal. This just means that I get out much more scot-free with a lot less damage on me. He's going to go into his Latios. I am going to switch into my Clefable. I have nothing to lose. Oh, I'm just kidding. I go into the Politoed. And unfortunately, he misses the Draco Meteor. The reason why I say unfortunately is because I am going to lose turns of Rain over this. But he is going to go for Defog, which is a double-edged sword because, like, yay, I don't have hazards on me, but boo, I don't have his hazards. I don't have hazards digging into his team, and I am just going to lose more turns of Rain. That sucked. I really wish he could have killed me off so he couldn't have gone for Defog, because I could have just gone straight into Tornadus T and threatened him, but, I mean, in the end, not having rocks up on my side is going to be kind of nice, so I am going to switch out with the U-turn because I know the Magnezone's coming in. Going to Breloom because I don't have to reveal that I'm Scarfed yet, since Breloom naturally outspeeds Magnezone. Unless he was timid, I could be Jolly for all he knows. But unless he was timid, he wouldn't know that by now. But I can now go into Clefable. This is what I was looking for. He can go for Draco. I don't care. He's going to go with Landorus T. I'm just going to end up going for Combine because I'm like, you know what? With the remainder of his team, I can set up. And that's exactly what I'm going to proceed to do. He makes a mistake and goes for Stone Edge. Earthquake will do a lot more damage. This just means that I get to go for Combines without having to worry about crits or worrying about extra damage getting me down below half, or I'm going to have to start spamming Soft Boil. I am going to get up to +3. No, I'm not. I'm going to go for Soft Boil first. Dear God, I'm still getting into this, people. But as you can see, the Earthquake almost does half. And I can guarantee you that was a low roll because I'm ProPokeNoob. People like to hacks me, or people like to just get the better of me. There you go. That's a lot of damage. So I am at +3. And now this part's just going to be sped up a little bit because it's just him going for Earthquake and me going for Soft Boiled. Because, you know, that's just how this works. He has to make sure that I can't set up and pretty much sweep his team because I'll be able to tank a hit. Luckily for me, going for Soft Boiled saves my life and not having my leftovers knocked off because that was a crit. That does a lot of damage. So now I have to kind of claw my way back here. Now what I could have done is I could have kept going for Soft Boiled because I'm pretty sure I have more Soft Boileds than he has Earthquakes. And it kind of sucks that he went for those early Stone Edges because that means that he will have the, you know, more Earthquakes at his disposal. But on this turn I decided, you know what, screw it, not going to risk a crit here. I'm just going to go straight for the Moonblast, see how much +3 does. Turns out if I went to +4 it would have killed him, but I didn't have an opportunity to get to +4 because he didn't keep going for Stone Edge. So I am going to switch out now because I still need to keep this thing for Latios. And I'm just going to go into my Landorus T. Oh my God, my tongue is just flying all over the place here. I figured he is just going to go for Earthquake. He's not going to risk going for Stone Edge. He's not going to make predictions. He is then going to end up going into his Clefable, knowing that I'm going to go for Stone Edge. Perfectly fine. Now, knowing, you know, seeing how much his Earthquake did, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a dent into him. And he's going to end up going for the Toxic. I don't know why. I guess he predicted a switch, but it's not really worth it for him to go for that. He should have just gone for Moonblast to get extra damage on anything on my team. He's going to go for Latios. I predict this, or I actually predict Landorus T to come in, but I predict something that has Levitate or Flying, and I'm going to hit that with a Stone Edge. Bam, dead, awesome. His Landorus T comes in. I decide to make a U-turn move and go into my Clefable to die? Yes. Go to my Clefable to die. Now, you might be looking at it going, oh, he goes for Rocks. That's perfectly fine. I go for the Moonblast just in case that he doesn't end up going for Earthquake, but he does. No big deal. I figured that the last of his team here, he has Kyurem Black, he has a weakened Clefable, and he has a very weak Landorus T. So Tornadus T can really clean this up by just going for Hurricanes and stuff like that. But that implies that I can hit a Hurricane. Unfortunately, Hurricanes don't work that well outside of the rain. You kind of need a weather system for that to work out. He is going to hit a Stone Edge, though. I mean, this guy hasn't missed many Stone Edges this battle, so it's better than my Landorus T, that's for sure. So I am going to go to my Landorus Therian, and unfortunately, because this thing's gotten so many turns of recovery, it's going to live with 1%. And it's going to leave me down to Scarf Brew. Now, luckily for me, his team's been weakened to the point where I can go for Rock Tomb. And hope to God that Technician boosted Rock Tomb is going to be enough to take it out and I don't miss a 95% accurate move. So I am going to go lock myself into Rock Tomb. That is going to take out the Landorus T. He is going to go and choose Clefable next, and Clefable is pretty low. I'm hoping that this thing will take it out. Clefable's not that bulky, thank God. And his last Pokemon is Kyurem Black, and it's super effective, so I'm really hoping that this will take it out. But of course, Kyurem Black is a little bit bulkier than that, and most Kyurem Blacks apparently run this bulky Sub-Roost Ice Beam Earth Power set, and he's going to take me out with an Ice Beam. And here's a fun fact. Even if I had gone for Force Palm at that range of HP when he was at 70% HP left, Force Palm still didn't kill it. I believe it only would have done up to 64 or 65% to him. So I needed rocks up. So basically, if his Dracometer had hit my Politoed, he would not have been able to go for Defog because Tornadus T would have come out. And then if I still had made that prediction, we're going for Stone Edge on his Clefable, predicting Landorus T or something that's going to dodge an Earthquake to come out, would have killed that. He wouldn't have had his rocks removed, which means that this would have been much easier to finish that off in that manner. However, you cannot assume that type of thing would happen, but what I could have done, what I could have also done, was realize that after doing some damage calculations, Clefable's Moonblast is an OHKO on Kyurem Blacks, which I did not know, so sacking off my Clefable was actually not the recommended thing. What I should have did was taken the risk with Tornadus T and sacked off the Breloom, because then I could have just gone for Hurricanes on both the leftover Landorus T and the Clefable. I have to risk that type of thing at this point because I don't have the rain, so I would have to risk that, and then Clefable could have came in on this thing, tanked the hit, gone for Soft Boil or two, and then just gone straight for the Moonblast to kill him off. But I mean, that's hindsight, but that is what the proper play should have been. I hope I said that correctly. It sounded really right in my head. And based on the battle we just saw, I'm pretty sure that could have been done by sacking off Breloom to the, what's it called? What would it have been sacked off to? It would have died to the, I would have brought it in on the Landorus T, which means Landorus T would have been threatened. Well, that could have been interesting. Oh well, battle's done anyways. That was an excellent match. Nipple zits. Comment, rate, and subscribe, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this battle. That will be the end of OU. Don't think that I'm going to go on an OU binge because, as you can tell, I can't even speak English in these commentaries yet, so still working on that. Luckily, live commentaries are much better than that. Of course, twitch.tv/ProPokeNoob. If you haven't already followed or haven't even checked in to see what I'm going to be streaming, you should do that because I speak much better there right now? I don't know. But also, quick update, the next few uploads will be part of a series. It is going to be an Are You Suspect Chronicles series, which basically will show you the struggles and the analysis that I went through during the Are You Suspect bans, which was for Dragalge, Serperior, and Mega Pidgeot. Now, I know it's a little outdated. It's about a few weeks old now, but I do want to show you guys because I saved a lot of really, really, really top tier battles. In my opinion, I think the plays were extremely strong in some of these battles, which exemplified not only the type of players that we're testing, it gives you an insight on what players are actually doing this type of testing, but more so the types of teams that you see during this testing to I guess show the potential of these three Pokemon that are being tested to be removed from RU, and it will demonstrate examples of why I thought Dragalge should have been banned, and Mega Pidgeot should not have been banned, and Superior Indifferent because I actually didn't fight any Superiors on the ladder. And I did quite a bit of battles because I got up to 2,000 coils. So I didn't make it to the voting, but I did do quite a bit of battles, and I'm pretty sure I had more than enough experience in RU to make an educated opinion and, you know, express that. So that's what we're going to be doing for the next few uploads. Expect a lot of RU, and then expect a lot of other variety after that, because RU, I'm pretty sure I'd be sick of. I think I have 11 RU battles for you. That's going to be quite a bit. Don't worry, they're not going to be 11 separate uploads. I will clump them. I'm going to stop talking because apparently I cannot narrate anymore. Consider this my resignation, ladies and gentlemen. Just kidding. You can't get rid of me. Have an excellent day, everyone. I'll see you next time.